Okay, so this is a pretty serious episode, and when we started down the Rabbit Hole podcast, we decided that these were some of the topics that we wanted to explore. So the first thing that I want to put out there is we are going to discuss some theories that are out on the internet pertaining to President Trump's failed assassination. And just to put it out there, we do not harbor or agree in any of these theories at all, right? We're just putting out what's on the internet. So it's important to understand that this is a very interesting time in the world, and there's a lot of fear being spread out at the moment. But it's important for us to understand and have a holistic balance of what the scenarios could look like. But again, just to articulate, none of us, myself and Sumit, my co-host, harbor or hold any strong views upon each particular theory. So with that being said, let's begin down the Rabbit Hole podcast. All right, mate. We have to get that out of the way. Some serious stuff. So look, let's talk about it. It happened. It happened on a Sunday morning. Couldn't believe it. You sent a video, and within an hour's time, it was everywhere, right? Like social media was buzzing. We're one day from it happening, and it's all everyone can talk about in certain spheres. We're in Australia, by the way. If you're in the US, I'm sure that's the only thing you can talk about.
It's all the channels there.
But I don't know about you, but have you noticed that like in other certain circles, like people are just not acting like it existed? Or maybe it's just my circles. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's an interesting
No, I heard it at work today. So
Did you?
Yeah,
I did it. I didn't.
Oh, you didn't?
And I didn't bring it up. But anyway.
Yeah.
Look, let's talk about it. As I said in the beginning of this, you and I, we're not like affiliated with any of these theories. This is what's out on the internet, right?
We're pretty far removed. Like we're from American politics. I mean, obviously we follow a lot of what goes on in America.
Yep.
And we comment on it, but like it's not something that we like we're like a Republican or a Democrat. We don't have any of those.
Right.
We're definitely seeing this from a neutral point of view. This is a neutral point of view. That's what like. That's just like that's what Down the Rabbit Hole is essentially. We see things from a neutral point of view, and we try to make sense of it, and that's what we're going to try to do this episode.
Okay, look, let's explore. It happened. The shooting happened. It was interestingly enough the narrative initially when major US media outlets didn't want to call it an assassination attempt. I think to this time date Biden still doesn't want to call it, but it is what it is.
Yeah, I think Biden didn't want to call it until the FBI confirmed it.
Interesting. Okay, cool. So look, the shooter has been identified as at now, and as at now is one day after, depending on when you're going to watch this. Thomas Matthew Crooks, a 20-year-old from Bethel Park, Pennsylvania. Okay, talk to me, man. What are you hearing out there? And again, just to put it out there, these are well-known theories that are out on the internet. We're not here to spread it per se, but here just to simply illuminate.
This is the talk online, right? And we're not having an opinion on the talk. We're not saying one is true or the other. This is just what we are hearing.
Yeah. Okay.
So what I have been hearing is three main narratives.
Yes.
The first that this is like straight and narrow. There was a shooter.
Yep.
He came. He had some. He did it. Obviously had some mental health issues to get to the point to want to shoot a presidential candidate, and then,
of course,
he shot and he missed. Or he missed.
Well, he missed.
Yeah. He hit his ear.
Yeah.
And straight and narrow, and then they shot him, and that was it. Like he's a lone wolf.
Yep.
And there was they're still investigating what the motive is.
Yep.
But yeah. It was just that, and then the second narrative is that this is something manufactured by Trump. I've heard this a lot online. That this was something that he did, and he organized and to win the election, and him sort of look like a martyr and sort of come up.
It's that photo that did it for you.
It's
right?
the photo that looked.
When I say did it for you, like that. Yeah, that's making a lot of people believe that,
a lot of people
right?
are believing it because like the photo looks like a movie poster.
Perfect.
In a way. It looks too perfect, right?
Yeah.
And so that's where that theory is coming from. The other one is that this was a hit by the government that went wrong.
Oh no.
Yeah.
yeah.
And like that's as absurd as the other one, right? That this is something that the government manufactured, and we've seen this with Robert Kennedy. Like it got revealed that was somehow, and no one cared at that point. Like that, it was a government op, and this is probably the most. I mean, I think the second most far removed from what it is.
Yeah.
But that is a theory, and look, the first one. We'll just go through it quickly. I'm just going to go through what needs to happen. For each one. To be true.
Yeah.
The first one in that it's straight and narrow. That means that there was a massive Secret Service lapse in security, in judgment, and the fact that like it didn't they didn't properly check all the the areas around it. They didn't check the angles. They didn't check the only roof that was in the vicinity. There was also reports of a man he got interviewed later that he was shouting at the security and Secret Service that there was someone on the roof for about 3 or 4 minutes.
Yep.
And that they didn't understand what he was shouting about.
Yeah.
So there's that. There's also the sniper that was positioned near where Trump is. And we saw a video of this, and he was looking in that direction, but didn't see the shooter.
Yeah.
So that's all the points that have to be true. For that to be true, for the points that need to be ticked for that to be true.
I mean, we did discuss that, like, and I think this has been a point of contention amongst most media outlets. Is like this is the prevailing narrative at the moment, right?
Yeah.
At the moment, like lone wolf, basically that narrative there, right? And there are a lot of people that have been saying, if that's the case, how bad the quality of the security must be. Which again, presidential candidate, we know how explosive Trump can reactions Trump can do. It almost doesn't add up, right? Like
parts of it
lacks,
don't. But here's the thing, right? Like there's a lot of these things that don't add up. The fact that was the only roof in that radius and it wasn't secure properly. That doesn't add up. That like
question. You know that there's footage out there where they have the snipers that actually shot the individual, right? Where were they sitting? Because I thought snipers are usually on the roof in the first place.
They're supposed to be on the roof.
Okay.
But they were high up near Trump, near the stage.
So they were on the stage.
Yeah, like near the stage. There's like a pylon, and then they were on top of that, and they were looking out, right? Yeah. And like to me, it is a bit odd because it's a grass field where this was. Yeah. And the thing next to it, there's a building next to it, which is a fence. And then there's like a building, and that's where he was on top of that building. It's the only one in that radius. So there has to be a lapse in that. Secret Service didn't secure that building, have someone there, have some of their people there to secure it. That it was he just somehow climbed it and got on top. Yeah. And even with a Secret Service sniper looking in that direction, that they didn't notice him, which could happen, right? Because the angle of the roof is like that, and then that goes up and down.
Slopes,
it slopes. Yeah. So that's the thing. Like
it's plausible.
While all these lapses, it's easy to believe it that they could happen. It's humans we're dealing with at the end of the day, right? There's the Secret Service.
It seems off. I get what you're saying.
Security, but there's a lot of them. Yeah, that's the thing, right? And this is probably why it's fueling a lot of the other ones, a lot of the other theories that are out there at the moment. The fact that there has to be this many lapses, but
I think overarchingly,
it's humans at the end of the day. They are humans that are in these positions of security,
and humans can make mistakes, right? Yeah. Look, I think the prevailing thing that we're seeing now is there's so much tension at the moment. Yeah. It's obviously like it's a very weird time in the world and definitely in America at the moment. This is probably the most divisive election we've seen in a long time.
Yeah, I mean, America has been divided for a while now.
Yeah, but these two concoction is
this assassination, the Biden debate, the Biden debate.
Yeah,
it's just
it's
making it worse.
It's a really bad concoction at the moment.
They're going in a way that's just going further and further apart.
Yeah,
and but
you're right. You're right. Like America, with even like the George, like all of that stuff it's hitting like a real inflection point, and like we are seeing it come out here. But like as you said, this is the first attempt that we've seen in like 40 years, right?
Yeah, the last
this
one
is the first
was Ronald Reagan.
Social media version, right?
This is the social media age.
I've seen a video where they showed the snipers. It's on one angle, right? So all you can see is like them pointing the gun there and shooting, right? And the caption is the shooter was allowed to shoot, and then. But what I'm saying is, you can't 100% assume that just from the angle of which it's
like, hard to tell what the angles are, because there's another angle of showing the stage and the sniper.
Yeah.
The one at the Secret Service sniper.
Yeah.
And it looks like he moves his, like he just before the shooting happened, he moves his rifle a bit to the left or to the right, and he just changes position.
Yeah.
So he might be something, he got something in his ear that there is someone here, turn right, turn 45 degrees, and he quickly did, and then like that's when the shots came, and he must have shot back, right?
I guess the point that I'm making is because now, for the first time ever, we've got civilians that have footage, right, that are being dissipated on the internet, that have their own captions and viewpoints of how it happened, which are not right or wrong. Like they can be wrong. They're putting it out there.
Well, here's the crazy thing, right? Because it's a social media age, we have the angle that's from CNN, the live stream. We have an angle of someone getting carried out of the crowd who got very tragically got killed in this. There was one civilian casualty and 2 got injured.
Yeah.
So the bullets, that like obviously they missed Trump, but they got people in the crowd. So this is a very sad situation.
What seemingly is being lost, and it's not that it's been lost. Lost is like someone died here, man.
Yeah.
It's actually terrible.
Yeah. And like they were just there at a rally.
Yeah.
Like and they had to. Yeah. They went through this, and the crazy thing is that there's angles of everything: the shooter, the crowd, Trump. But like it's just, even like I'm almost shocked by the fact that like to the photographers, when Trump went down, there's a photo of Trump down like in amongst the Secret Service. How they get that, I don't know.
You mean from a proper camera?
Yeah.
Okay. And like so let's go to the second one, because this is it's a combination of these things that is fueling basically the second narrative that's been out on the internet, right?
Yeah.
Which is basically that Trump's team had something to do with this.
Okay, now this theory is
fucking wild, bro.
It's very wild. It's probably I think the wildest out of the 3, right? That this was somehow manufactured by Trump, and that it was something that he did to gain election points for the coming. Basically, because after this happened, people saying Trump has won the election, right? That's been the narrative as well. That you're not beating Trump now. You might as well cancel the election. That's what I'm hearing online.
Yep.
Might be a bit overconfident, but like I think it's we have to look at history for this, right? Ronald Reagan, once he got that assassination attempt, he went up 22 points after that. So it is something that that has been done, that has not been done before, but like it has been proven to win you elections now.
An attempt.
Yeah. It won Ronald Reagan the election. So, but the problem with that theory is that the margin for error is too small. I'm sorry, but like he moves 1 centimeter this way and it ends up in it, like, he ends up deceased. When, like, it's just, that's not happening. I don't care if you're the best sniper in the world. I just don't think that can happen.
Yeah, this one, I've definitely heard a lot of it, but like I think,
and like we have to look at the facts of it, right? There was an award-winning photographer there,
so
he knows how to get those shots, right?
That bullet shot, right? Like I'll put it up here.
Yeah,
we're photographers, right? What settings do you need to do to shoot that? No, legit.
Very high shutter speed.
And is that the same?
The thing is, when you're doing this type of photography, you need to have it at a high shutter speed, right?
Really? For normal? Yeah, to freeze them, right?
Because Trump is moving like this, right? He's gone like this, he's gone like this, he's very animated. So to get him in a proper shot that's not blurry.
Okay, no, I get it. Sorry, I do get it.
High shutter speed.
But again, they have to be there at the exact time to get that.
Yeah, but
it's not like they're shitting bursts after burst after burst.
Well, that's
right.
I think they are.
You can.
I think they are doing burst after burst.
But what we're saying is, and this is what's fueling it, but I don't believe it, is at that exact time that they were doing a burst is the exact time that the shot happened, which is plausible statistically.
We're going to remember there was 5 or 6 shots, right?
Yeah.
It's like boom, 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 boom. So, I mean, the photographer could have heard one of them and been like,
just
burst after that, right? I mean, these are like, you can do so many frames per second from when you burst shot with the camera if you look at it. So
I'm sorry, it's still wild, man.
It is wild. It is crazy. I mean, like, these are all it's a crazy scenario, this whole thing.
Yeah.
But I mean, there's too many things here, like the margin for error.
It doesn't add up, man.
I don't know. To me,
he's winning in the polls anyway, isn't he? Like, why does he need that?
Yeah, that's the thing. I mean, after the Biden debate, did you really need to do something like if it was that?
That's what I'm saying. Like, there's just
plausible.
So many between COVID, between everything that's happening. I think people want to believe in conspiracy theories. Not that they want to, but if there is just the slight jar open, we're going down that rabbit. We're all in those ones, right?
Yeah.
Just play some of these scenarios through. It's like flip it. Like the juice is not worth the squeeze, and basically the scenario. Not to say that, like I said, we don't have any. We just basically articulating
margin
what's
for
out
error
there, right?
shuts this whole thing down.
It doesn't add up. What's the last one?
The last one is that this is somehow concocted by the government.
Oh no! This is
and that and we've so we've seen hits on presidents before in the US's history, right?
Yeah,
like Kennedy and all that, which is proven lately to be true. I couldn't believe it, but that this is somehow a hit by the government that went wrong. And
we've got to debunk that, man. Like, they would have got a better shooter. Like, that's what I'm saying. Like,
yeah, I mean, they could have got a better like that's the thing. Like, but like,
I don't know. This is icky.
For this one to be like true, it would make sense. It would have to make sense of the Secret Service not reacting the right way to the situation, right?
Okay, so double clicking on that goes back to our first point where a lot of people are saying that it's interesting. I'm not going to take YouTube comments as like Bible, but like there are a lot of comments I've seen in videos of people saying that, they're part of the secret or close to. And for example, in the debate, they had so much security that basically what they've been shown here does not mirror up what the level of scrutiny that happened before, right? So I mean, there is merit to that logic of thinking.
There was reports that Trump was asking for more Secret Service detail.
That makes sense.
For this rally.
Here's the thing, right? Like, I'm not a security guy, but like, when you're in a arguably that'd be harder. When you're in a debate, you have to go in an enclosed area. Yeah. Meaning that they can only enter legally through a couple of different ways, right? And then you got like chicken everywhere. Yeah. But this was out in the open. Yeah. And this is what makes the dynamics of that is a security execution much more complicated. I can kind of believe.
But I think it was less complicated than if you were like in a city or something like that, right?
Sure.
And there's multiple windows. Sure. You can't cover every single room and every window of every building. Yeah. That's impossible.
Yeah.
The fact that this is like a grass field and there's one building, and that only building was not secured properly. Yeah, it's fueling this one. It's fueling this theory, and like, we all hear about like the fact that Trump is not the political elite candidate and all that sort of stuff, which is also fueling that as well, right? Like he's not the establishment, Biden is and all that sort of stuff. But I mean, for this to be true, there has to be this is like, for this to be true, this is something very sinister. This is something very like, it's just, I don't know.
Look, I agree, and it's just not a place that I want to think of. Here's the thing, right? We say these theories because they're out on the internet. Like, you don't have to search very far to find them. I think I just went in the Sydney Morning Herald and they were talking about the theories out there, maybe not articulating it. which is all to say that the media has had a field day. You know what? One of the first things I thought, oh great, like not oh great, but like there's this massive, you've heard of the term like a military industrial complex, right? Where like there's the business of war, the business of this like news machine for politics. It must be through the roof at the moment. Like people must be reading things at massive levels that they've never got, and like it just seems to be like now with this, like people are going to be tuning in even more, right? What's the next public event that Trump is going to be in? How do you think that's going to go?
There was talks that he was going to attend UFC that same night.
Oh yeah, he was, but he obviously didn't. Yeah, he was. He was, but like, but that's what I mean, right?
No
like,
way he was being allowed to. But like,
what do you think the next debate's going to be like? Where are they going? They're going to do it in a bunker? Like, like this is like, you know what I mean? Like, it's just nuts at the moment.
Well, like I woke up this morning, news.com.au, the first 10 articles. Yeah, you go down. They were all Trump.
It's what everyone wants to know, but
and it's just that shows the magnitude of what happened, right? Because we have to look at how crazy this is for this to happen in this age. This hasn't been done for 40 years in the US, and it's the effects of it. They can be far-reaching, far wide, and like we've talked about in the last podcast about like the US sort of leadership is kind of like the leadership of the world in a way, right?
Perceived,
that's why a lot of eyes are on it. And like this is just. And we saw the response, right, from a lot of world leaders sort of crazy, giving like both sides of the fence, whether they're like, even like in America, like with Democrats, and like, this is just wrong. This is not on for like,
what it has created though is a real like, I mean, Trump already elicits that sort of reaction, but for those that were already on his case, man, the way they're talking about him, it's like he's the second coming of the Messiah. It's just nuts. It's actually like out of control, to be honest. Like,
and that's the thing, like,
and I say this having not caring about who wins, just putting it out there, like, but I think, like, this is what makes this so like a mind bend, because when you think of what the scenario could possibly be, and that it doesn't sit neatly anywhere,
that's the
but
thing.
How it has played out is advantageous to one guy. That's like, it's not advantageous to Biden. Okay. So Trump's name is in every new thing, whether you like him or not, or you don't know he exists or not. Now you do. And every world leader is sending condolences, and the Trump advocates are just beating that drum of war. Like, not war. When I say war, I mean metaphorically, like he is the guy. Like, the other thing as well is like when you see the video, when he comes up and puts his hand there, you should see the people's reaction at the back. It's like fucking Taylor Swift. It's like, I've never seen that for a politician.
That's all 50 Cent put up on something about like there's like remixes with Many Men and like
I've seen that.
It's nuts. Like the reaction to this is nuts. Online,
it's created
social media, like it's
out of control. Actually.
It is out of control. I've not seen anything like this. And maybe it's because we weren't around during the previous. I don't know how it was when Reagan got the attempted assassination, but man, like this is just crazy.
This is nuts.
Like this is like the social media age version of it. So it's just like it's everywhere. Everywhere you go on any platform, that's all it is. And because it's unique, right? And like we talk about the last couple of years and how crazy it's been with COVID, everything, right? This is just, I think it's going in an overdrive now. Like this is nuts. I did not think like
it's crazy.
Like at the start of the year, this is what we will be talking about. Like,
nah,
no way.
Hell no,
no way.
Let me type in Google Trends and just put Donald Trump in.
It's probably the highest. The record for it must be really high because, like, it's everywhere, and it's like all the channels. Even like when I went onto the news channels in Foxtel yesterday. It was just like you can see the program that comes up. All of them just had the Trump attempted assassination.
It's intense.
So it's all everyone's talking about, and. Yeah, I mean that's got an effect on like the psyche of people as well. Right? Like
I think
because like we know what like the American psyche, like everyone lives in fear of something, right? The news sort of media, they feel it and all that sort of stuff. But
they do feel it, yeah.
It's just like that sort of thing is not just limited to Americans. It's now worldwide.
It's spreading out. Well, just think about this, right? Well, one thing is when you told me about it and it finally came out that it was real. The sad thing is when you can say I'm not surprised. It's actually sad that you can actually say, you know what? Well, it's going to happen soon.
But it's scary, isn't it?
It is very scary.
To me, to live in a world like that is scary.
Well, think of a generation of people around the world. Let's call it. I mean, we're Gen Y, right? So we have never lived through that, right?
No. This is new for us.
This is new for us. But think of a Gen Z or even there where they're like, I think the main thing that I find really scary about this is the desensitization of all of this.
Yeah.
And this is across social media as a whole. But like, you know what? Like when say some politician does something good for the world, you're not going to hear about it's not going to be a big thing. But when stuff like this comes, it's just like the biggest dopamine hit you've ever
it's crazy,
got.
right? Like
and people are just
in the
all
90s, we used to hear about Princess Diana, Mother Teresa, all these people doing like great things for the world.
Yeah.
And I don't know what the equivalent is these days of that.
Yeah.
There isn't one, right? Because all we hear is like the worst stuff that's happening in the world, the crazy things, the wild things.
Yeah.
This is all like for us. You're right. It is like we haven't experienced this.
It's uncharted territory.
Boomers experienced this during their time, like JFK assassination, all that. But that wasn't as far-reaching as social media is these days. You heard about it on the newspaper or something, or the news.
Yeah.
But like we've got this screen that's with us like 24 hours a day. That it's just feeding us all this.
And I think the thing is the fact that there's so much footage and like the fact
all
that
the different angles,
people, it's all blurry. It's not very well composed, which is obviously makes sense.
That's where it's interesting, right? What's happening with Gen Z as well, with this generation, because all this stuff like wars, COVID, presidential assassinations, they've happened before, but there's never been like a social media version of them.
Oh, yeah.
The previous two wars that are currently going on, what's the effect of that on a younger generation because of the fact they're seeing raw video, right? By the way, a lot of this is raw videos that are coming straight to their phone, 24 hours a day.
Yep.
Presidential assassination, which you can watch from 7 different angles. It's got to be having some sort of effect psychologically, right?
It's intense. But like the thing that I get worried about is the fact that we get desensitized to stuff like this. Again,
but that's the effect, isn't it?
It is.
That we are getting more and more desensitized to things that used to shock us.
Yeah.
And I'm not liking that.
We've spent so much talking about Trump, and like obviously I get why, but I don't think I know the name of the person who got shot. Not that they'd put it out there, but like in normal case, we're talking about one person, so you can get the name.
Yeah,
obviously, but out of respect, I'm not saying that because I want to know. Yeah. It's just that like
this is a tragedy.
It is a
massive tragedy.
There's a lens being shined on one thing and one thing only, and we're so. I say we, being myself as well. Like I'm just saying, like as a society, we're so engrossed, but it's a freaking drama. It's a soap opera. It's actually a soap opera if you think about it. And we're consuming if you type in YouTube anything with Trump assassination on it, the views are through the roof.
Yeah,
through the roof. And then you have people like us inclusive, like saying stuff. That's why I'm trying to be quite like deliberate upon it, just to say that these are not our opinions on anything. This is what's out there. But it's oh man, like you said, like if you would say in the beginning of the year, we'd be talking about like a potential presidential assassination. I'd have laughed at you.
Yeah, would not believe. No way. That's unfortunately the times that we live in. That anything this wild is possible now, and that to me is scary. A scary place, a scary world to live in.
Yeah,
that anything like that is possible at any point.
Yeah, I mean,
and we saw this with the recent like stuff that's happened in Sydney, right? With the priest and Bondi as well. Yeah. That like
I forgot about that. I've let it go, and that's what I mean.
That is a massive event.
Yeah,
and to think that our minds just went past it.
Yeah.
Like, that's nuts.
Well, the same like attention deficit that you have, like these, it's all being created. It's been all being curated, like the lapse in attention span.
Because here's the question I'd ask, right? Is the world becoming a more scarier and crazier place? Or has it always been that, and the media of it is what is becoming crazier and more like visible and more
definitely more
crazy and like what is it?
It's definitely a more scary place. Yeah, it has to be. It's both can be right,
true.
by the way.
Yeah, both can be right.
It's definitely a more scarier place, and it's brought about by a lot of different things. It's brought about by a lot of our like base urges as a human species, to be honest, which is like survival, wanting to thrive at all costs, capitalism at all costs. Yeah. All of these things have wrapped themselves now, but I think in all of them, it's just that that hunger for power and for control, which is like this happened ages ago. It's just that we now have the worst weapon of all time, which is information and technology. Yeah. Not the worst, but the most potent weapon of all time.
And this, like, when Zuckerberg started Facebook in 2000, I don't know whether he
didn't know.
predicted something like this.
He did not know.
Right?
Just,
like this level of the power that it can have, which is why you see all these Zuckerbergs and Musks and all these guys in Congress, because there is so much power in these social networks, in social media, that if fallen to the wrong hands, it is very dangerous.
Yeah, look, we'll keep an eye out and we'll see how it goes. But
we were keeping an eye out on the debates.
Yeah. I just wanted the PG version of it,
and like that. Yeah,
I mean, how do we go to seriously? We've gone from it's. I was going to say it's good for content, but that's shocking. In the sense of like we've gone from the GOP debates with the Vivek stars to the Trump and Biden debates to hot swap, like that was a real thing, and now to an assassination attempt. That's what I mean. You can't script this stuff. It's just shocking.
Yeah, it's shocking, and I'm like, I hope this is like that's it. That like we'll just have a normal debate, normal election campaign from now on. But I don't know what's happening.
See, the thing is, with everything that's happened, I don't know what normal is.
Yeah, I don't know what normal is.
I don't know what normal should be.
We forgot normal like 5 years ago, I think, in the world.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah. I don't know. I'm actually like the more you think about it, these are certain places that you don't want to spend too much time thinking about it. But I think just keep your wits on you, and I think the main important thing that we can stress is don't believe everything you hear.
No,
like run it through your thought process. And the other thing is, even if it's true, I don't know. I actually don't know.
But like you have to like look at things critically with a critical lens of everything.
Yeah.
Even what we've talked about today, none of these could be true.
Yeah.
Right. All three of them could be wrong.
Yeah.
And it's just you've got to be able to make that decision for yourself. Think about it critically. Like everything's not cut and dry.
Yeah.
And
it's not black and white.
That's the thing. Like you can't just make opinions and decisions on like what you think it is. This is still an active situation.
Yeah.
There is a lot of information yet to come out, and I would definitely wait for it.
Yeah. All right, we'll see it. Let us know what you thought about the podcast. Let us know what you think about what's going on, and see you next time.
See ya.
Ciao.